Joe from Max MMA. We're here in Cortland at the Bomb Squad with John Bones Jones.
Hey, how's it going?
Very good. John, Bones Jones, where did you get the name Bones?
Bones Jones came from my chicken legs. You know, I grew up playing football, and you know, I have fairly decent shoulder length and a big head. So I had a really big helmet given to me and really big shoulder pads, and I just couldn't do anything to cover up these chicken legs. So you know, everyone always made fun of me about it. I embraced it.
Okay. Let's talk about the obvious. Your meteoric rise in MMA. You beat Stephan Bonnar, and I think the world took notice that John Bones Jones was on the scene. How did that feel for you? Was it a change in your mentality?
Yeah, for sure. It was really good for me. It was a big point in my career. Biggest thing was that it just gave me the confidence. You know, I always believed in myself and had faith that I could make it in this sport. And you know, taking on a guy like Stephan Bonnar just elevated me, you know, mentally and as an athlete. So you know, it was a big confidence booster.
Okay. Next, I want to talk about Matt Hamill. Matt Hamill, I think everybody in attendance was in agreement that that fight should have been stopped a lot sooner than it was. I mean, you threw a lot of vicious elbows at him, and it wound up, instead of being a win for you, being lost because of a DQ. I don't think anybody else knew about that. What is it, the 12 to 6?
12 to 6.
I guess that's a hard way to learn. Talk to us a little bit about your mentality after the fight and knowing that you lost, because it looked like you thought you won that fight at that point.
Yeah, you know, it was definitely a tough one to swallow. I would say it was by far my best performance of my career, and a lot went into that performance. You know, a lot of sacrifice and a lot of dedication. So it was a tough one to swallow. You know, I had a really expensive training camp, living in New Mexico for the first time, and you know, I was away from my family for the first time for you know, over a month. It was a long time, and yeah, it was just it was a learning experience. It was a tough one to swallow, but we're gonna move forward and make the next guy pay for it.
Okay, all right. I like that mentality. Speaking of New Mexico, I read that you called that a spiritual experience going to train out there with the Jackson camp. Talk about that for a little while.
For sure. It was just great. You know, we spent a lot of time up in the mountains, you know, meditating and just learning how to be a warrior. Being around Greg Jackson has been great. You know, he's definitely a martial artist, and he's a student of the sport. He's just elevated me in so many different ways. He's teaching me how to think, you know, think in the octagon, think like a warrior outside of the octagon. He's just an inspiration, and it's all around the perfect place for me.
Okay, now let's talk about the Bomb Squad. You spent most of your time here. Your foundation's been laid here, training with Ryan Ciotoli. Let's talk about what goes on here. I mean, we interviewed some of the fighters here. They were pretty banged up. It looks like a lot of rough training here.
Oh yeah, we work really hard here. This place is my base. It's my foundation. These guys taught me, you know, all the things that I've done up until I think Stephan Bonnar fight. You know, these guys, these are my home. Yeah, but it's a great gym. All the guys work really hard here. We're brothers. We have a good time.
All right. Another thing I read about, which I find very curious, you give credit to watching the fights and visualizing some of the moves that you've seen in the fights, learned those and applied them in the fights in the UFC. Talk about visualization for a couple of minutes.
Oh my God, visualization is huge. It's really important, and I actually credit a lot of my success to my mind and the way I visualize things. You know, usually when I have an opponent, I study their film so much, and you know, I visualize myself in front of them. I visualize, you know, our speed differences and reach differences. I try to get people's timing down way before the fight. You know, I visualize myself punching the guy in the face, you know, his eyes rolling back. I visualize myself head kicking guys, and you know, I'm just always, you know, shadow boxing, and mentally, like, me and the UFC, we're together all day, every day. It's kind of weird, but I guess it's the reason why things are going so well.
Well, you seem to be pretty successful with it. Let's talk about Brandon Vera now. You're going to fight a guy who is very experienced, maybe a little bit more experienced than even the Stephan Bonnar fight. What's your plan for Brandon?
Oh, I'm just going to go out there and bite him on the neck or something. See if I can get him to bleed to death. No, I'm joking. It's gonna be a good fight, you know. I'm just planning on being a better fighter than him. You know, everyone's saying that he's more technical than me. I'm just planning on being a smarter fighter, and you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, you know, who's more technical. It's like who fights better that night. I plan on being faster and smarter and overwhelming and just all over him. I feel really good, really confident. I would never take a fight that I thought I was going to lose, so I feel good.
Well, I think you've got a lot of people in your camp. You got a lot of believers out there. You've fought some great fights, and not just one. You've had some devastating victories. We wish you a lot of luck in the future, and we will be watching for you. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me, guys.